Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Fitz with explore.org. Joining me is Katmai National Park Ranger Felicia Jimenez. Welcome to our video series for Fat Week in the classroom. The questions we are answering were submitted by students in advance. Thanks to everybody who submitted their questions. People are active all year, but bears hibernate in winter, and we got a lot of questions about bear hibernation. So let's learn more about the remarkable abilities of hibernating bears. First off, Laura Lai, who is in third grade at Arietta School, asks, why do bears hibernate, Felicia?
Yeah, great question. So as you can imagine, these bears, they live in Alaska, and winter in Alaska is really, really cold. You can imagine that there's really not that much food available for bears in the winter at that time of year. So bears utilize a strategy called hibernation, in which essentially we think of hibernation as, the bears are asleep. They're not actually fully asleep. They, slow down things like their breathing and their heart rate, and they don't eat or drink or go to the bathroom during this time. And they just stay in the den during the winter and just wait that out. And then in the springtime, they'll come out of hibernation and then they can start eating again.
We got lots of questions wondering about what happens to bears when they hibernate. For example, Braxton, who is in fifth grade at Richardson Elementary, asked, can a bear wake up during hibernation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we tend to think of hibernation in bears as bears are asleep all winter, and they're not actually fully asleep. Just things like their heart rate and their breathing are slowed down, so that they don't use as much energy when they're asleep or when they're in the den. And so they are going to be in that state all throughout winter, and then they're going to emerge again in the spring. And bears do a lot of things when they're in hibernation. Females even will give birth in the den. One bear that we want to highlight is Bear 901. She's a mother bear, a new mom this year. And last year, she gained a lot of weight over the summertime and went into the den, nice and fat. And while she was in the den, she actually gave birth to a set of three cubs. And so bears, even when they're in hibernation, will give birth and have cubs. And then in the spring, the whole family will emerge, and they're ready to start eating again.
It does sound like bears can do a lot of special things while they hibernate. You mentioned that they don't eat and they don't drink. They also don't go to the bathroom. And somebody was wondering about that. So Unsa, who's in seventh grade at RKMS, asks, what happens to a bear's bowel movements while it hibernates? Aren't there bad effects from not going to the bathroom?
There certainly would be for me and you. But in bears, they actually don't go to the bathroom while they're in the den for hibernation. So a bear's body is really incredible. They are living off of their fat while they're in the den, right? They don't eat, they don't drink, but their bodies are also taking as much moisture as possible from that fat and recycling as much as they can. Um, you know, and even the moisture that is left out when you urinate, when a bear goes to the bathroom, is going to be recycled, just so they can squeeze out every bit of moisture that they can. Even in really big bears, like Bear 151, he is not going to the bathroom in the den, and his body is equipped just for that. And then once they emerge out of the den, it's back to normal.
Hibernating brown bears display amazing adaptations to survive winter. And that's a time, again, when they don't eat, they don't drink, and they don't go to the bathroom either. They can do things that people cannot. And it's truly remarkable to consider how they survive that time of the year. Felicia, thanks for joining me. And of course, thanks to everybody who is watching and listening. Be sure to look for our other videos for Fat Bear Week in the classroom and watch the bears of Katmai National Park on live webcams at explore.org/bears. You can find extension activities if you are a teacher about brown bears and Katmai on Katmai National Park's website at nps.gov/KATM.